is affectionately known as Penelope. A girlfriend had coined the name. The car is a 91 Rest of World car that was originally sold to an owner in Japan. It is a Mizuwa car. I've only ever had modern cars. And you know, these air-cooled Porsches, I didn't realize I was missing out not only on the driving experience, but sort of the club and culture that it unlocks. When you drive the car, it is like driving a go-kart. And what's so funny owning this car and owning a very modern GT3 RS is it's the far scarier car to drive. People are always saying how cute the car is, how good looking the car is, how, you know, almost approachable the car is. You know, like it's this loving, adorable thing, and you get in it and it is a weapon. I mean, it is as close to, you know, a go-kart on the road as I think you can get. I wanted to build the ultimate canyon carver, and so it's great. I mean, you're between second and third 100 times a frickin' minute. It's just non-stop with the gearbox. It feels, I mean, so communicative, but so well-rounded. I guess I would say it feels very unfiltered. A couple weeks ago, I was driving the car and I felt like I was just rushing everything and I was making mistakes. And today I'm in the car and, you know, I feel like I can do no wrong. And I love that the car, you know, you're making the decisions and that's it. And it rewards you or it tells you you're an idiot. And that's what I love about the car. A hot rodded 964 popped up on Bring a Trailer, and it had a lot of the hot rodding elements that I knew I would want. And actually, a lot of my friends knew I would want. Multiple people sent me the same car on Bring a Trailer within days of each other. I ended up winning the auction and flying to Scottsdale to go pick the car up a few days later. It was the start of a project that never ends. The car was imported a few years prior to my owning it and aggressively modified. They didn't really take the time to make sure all the bits and bobs worked cohesively. And there were some things to the car that were not my taste. But Joey Seeley at eMotion Engineering is the real brain behind the car, and he effectively asked me to trust him, and he would make good decisions. So long as I was ready to pay for his decision making, which for the most part I was, and he's a heck of a salesman. The car has Ohlin TTX suspension, ERP uprights, RS sway bars and end links. It has a 993 steering rack, 993 big red brakes, and master cylinder. We re-geared the entire gearbox, so it's short first through fifth. It has a 3.8 motor in it, so we pushed it to 3.8 liters. It's monoball everything, polyurethane instead of rubber where we could. This epic exhaust. Most notable on the car is a really cool one-piece rear deck and wing. Done by, he goes by Son of Cobra, and he's a carbon wizard, and it's 11 pounds. It's one of two. The mold broke, so there's only 2 cars with it. And he also did carbon front hood. We refinished the E88s, the BBS E88s, did polished outers, and we did body color inners. This was a Joey Seeley call, and he said, hey, just paint it the same color as the body, it'll look awesome. That's honestly one of my favorite touches, is how the wheels turned out. I just think they are stunning, and the way the car sits on them is just, it's perfect. And somehow it doesn't rub even under, full compression, which is shocking. There's also some other really cool things, right? Like one day there are these roof 993 air diffusers on the A-pillar, and they just are this cool little piece of flair that you'd never know. But They look awesome. The thing just looks wicked. It's sick. The way I got into cars is ultimately through, following my father's hobbies and passions, and he had cool cars in the garage when I was growing up, and he had a real appetite for motorsport. He actually grew up doing a lot of autocrossing. He had a 2002. Growing up, we would go to car races. We went to the 94 Indy 500. It was my first car race. I remember, we were very lucky that there was an incredible Ferrari dealership in the suburb of Chicago I'm from. And we used to go over there all the time just to go and sit in the cars, see the cars, check out cool cars. It was like a stop on your weekend to-do list was popping into Lake Forest sports cars and just seeing cool stuff. And same thing for the Porsche dealership. We've been buying cars from the same Porsche and Audi dealership in the Chicagoland area probably since before I was born. This is the Porsche and Audi exchange. It's the Samarsky family. We still have a great relationship with them today. Once I was making enough money, I started participating in the hobby. And that really shifted probably the most when I moved to California. I got a job at what was a tiny startup at the time, but it was GoPro, and everyone there was a car nut. But not only were they car nuts, we had the roads to enjoy the hobby on. And so that's when I went from someone who loved cars to someone who loved driving cars. What I love about this 964 is, yeah, it's a rest of world car, yeah, it's a slick top, but it's a C2 911, and there's a lot of them. And this one has been modified to my taste and no one else's. It's just my 911, and that means that I couldn't tell you how many miles are on it because I just drive it anytime I can. If I don't have to put a bunch of stuff in the trunk of a car and it's a decent looking enough day, I pretty much daily drive the thing. And I love that at 30 miles an hour, the car makes you feel, you feel pretty alive driving the car. You gotta be totally present when you're driving it. And I love that it gives me that at 30 miles an hour to go get groceries or to go run an errand. And I can do it as many times as I want because I'm not worried about who the next person that wants to buy the car is and how much they want to pay for it or how much I want to get paid for it. It is my car, and I love that.